Hello and welcome to the Layers podcast. I'm your host Tayo and I'm so happy to have you join us today. The heart behind the Layers network and podcast is to see people grow. So each conversation we have is designed to have something in there just for you. And I hope that that very thing that you take away equips and empowers you to broaden your thinking, your network, and your personal influence. So whether you're at home, in the car, or on your daily commute, relax and enjoy the conversation. Welcome back, guys. Today I have my two friends with us, Oyin and Tina. Whoop whoop. Okay. I have my two friends with
sorry,
me.
sorry, but when you say my two friends, like you only have two friends.
Okay. This is already no good. You know what? Forget the intro. Forget the intro.
You're gonna say that.
Completely forget the intro. Tina and Oyin are my two best friends. And in honor of International Friendship Day, I thought I would do a podcast with them. But clearly, you can see.
We love you.
I can't say how I feel about you guys right this second. So why don't you guys just introduce yourselves? Tina, what do you do for a living?
I work in media. Yeah. Can't let the people know too much about me.
Oh my days. So what do you do in media? What do you do in life?
I work in animation specifically.
That's cool.
With lots of kids content, which is really fun. A lot of content I grew up with as a child, which is really nice. Yeah.
Nice. Oyin, what do you do in life?
Too many things, I think.
Really?
Not as cool as Tina though.
That is a damn lie.
Well, I do a couple of things. So by day, I'm a lawyer with a focus on energy and project finance and technology law. And whenever it's not that time of the day, I'm a poet, musician, artist, rapper. I mean, depends on how you see it, but I'm an artist, disciplinary artist.
As in?
All right. Well, for a living, I do podcasts, so we are just going to proceed straight into this. So, like I said, it's International Friendship Day, which is basically just like an awareness day to highlight friendships and kind of just highlight the value of friendships. And I was reading the New York Post and I saw that 1 in 5 millennials say that they're lonely and they have quote unquote no friends. And according to YouGov, millennials are like the loneliest generations, have been ranked the loneliest generations through like surveys. How do you guys feel about that?
That's surprising, actually.
Is it?
I don't know. I guess it's because there's so much social media and all this stuff. You just assume that people are very connected.
Well, for me, I think the first thing is, first of all, do they mean millennials or Gen Z? Because that mistake gets made all the time.
No, millennials from like 18 to like 30s or something.
Yeah, about 37 or so. Right. Is it surprising? I'm not I don't know. There's a lot of social media. A lot of people, social media is fake. So I can understand that, even the basis of friendship on social media is also fake. So the highlights of your life, the liking of a post, how much of a good filter you use is like the basis of most of social media, how much you package your life, how well. So to an extent, I can understand why people feel like they don't have a lot of friends, even if they have a lot of maybe followers. But I don't know. It is a little bit surprising to say that they're the loneliest of people.
Yeah.
But hey, c'est la vie.
Wow. You guys are laughing and people are lonely. You should be ashamed of yourself. So bow your head now. So
in worship or how?
Bye. End of podcast.
Sorry, I forgot I was supposed to behave. So no, go ahead.
Badly behaved. I was actually going to say that I'm not as surprised, only because I like I was saying to you, that I've seen so many people over the course of the pandemic tweet, oh my gosh, lockdown has made me realize I don't have that many good friends, or I don't really have any friends, or maybe I'm expecting too much of my friends. And that kind of made me a bit sad, because I remember like at uni, I feel like I had a good social circle, but I actually feel like I felt the loneliest when I was at uni. And it wasn't because I didn't have um anyone to like be like, oh, do you want to go out, do you want to do this? It was just I didn't have anybody that was with me in the same city, in the same place physically, that I felt like I could be like, do you want to go and have, like, the one person I had moved to like Hong Kong for like a year abroad. So it was like, if I wanted to be like, oh, I'm tired of like being in my room, I just want to like go out to like the shops or something and like go shopping, and actually, oh, let me, who can I go with? I didn't have anybody to go with. So I think there can be loneliness in the sense of I don't have any friends, and there can be loneliness in the sense of I have friends, it's just I don't think that I'm understood or seen or have any kind of tangible real thing with anyone in this circle.
I think that
Yeah.
tangibility is where it comes from, right? That idea of, for example, what you talked about going shopping. A lot of people would not be able to go shopping with certain people because maybe they have access to more money than they do. But if you're with an actual friend, like a real friend, it wouldn't matter that your friend has more money than you or vice versa.
Yeah.
You guys are just having a good time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not able to find friends that they can be on that really, really plain with, because like I say, a lot of social media type relationships are centered on the highlights, the good things, how good you look, how expensive you look, how well your life is packaged. So you can't be vulnerable if you like. Also, there's the whole thing of cancel culture, but I don't want to preempt you in case that's something you want to talk about later.
No, that's fine. Tina, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I totally get the idea of just feeling like you have no one. When I finished sixth form, all my friends went to university, and I just started a new church, and I didn't really have anyone like just around, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this what it feels like to be alone? And then I had to kind of like build up all these new relationships and kind of start from scratch again. And so you still have your friends, it's kind of just like, but they're all doing their own thing kind of, and they're all on their own new journeys. So the time and the effort is just not there like it was before.
Okay. So speaking of time and effort, how would you, so one of the questions I wanted to, actually, I was going to say, speaking of time, I was going to say, how do you cultivate good friendships, good relationships, especially as adults when life is changing? But before we go into that, I wanted to talk about, how do you even, so now that, let's say, Tina, your friends went off to uni and you were like starting a new job, it's very different. Even just being at uni in itself, for me, I felt like my friend going off to Hong Kong, it's like, how do you make friends as an adult?
How
Like,
did
what
I
are the
make
conventional or the unconventional ways that you can make friends?
I guess for me, so I just started at Hillsong. So I joined a young and free group in my area. I say in my area, it was in Croydon because I knew one girl and she was at Croydon, so I just went there. And then I made a few friends there, and then I'll see them on Sundays and stuff. Just trying to find people within whatever community or space you're currently in. So that was what I did at that time, and then since then it's evolved into like me serving on teams and me joining new connect groups and meeting you and stuff. And then also I recently got BFF Bumble, which it's been really nice. I originally got it for dating, and then I hated that, so I was just like, let's see what kind of girls out there, and you can meet just a lot of like-minded people. Like in my circle of friends, I don't have a lot of girlfriends who are really into anime, but
thank God.
I met so many.
No, like when Tina tries talking about anime, I'm like, I'm done. Sorry, Tina.
She doesn't allow me to just be my authentic self.
Okay.
But yeah, you can meet people with like similar interests, and it's not as high pressure as you think it is, because I think everyone's kind of just in the same position.
Okay. So you would say like a conventional way of meeting friends would be like, if you're if you have a church or like a religious community or like even a cultural community, it's like investing yourselves into the little breakout
Yeah,
groups
I
within
think,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it seems, I mean, just on the back of that, it seems like for you to make friends requires a little bit more intentionality.
Yeah,
Not even talking
that's the
about
word
keeping
right
friends
there.
now, but even making the friends, the kind of friend that you might want to meet now as an adult, actually
Mm,
requires you to put yourself out in the way that you might not have needed to as a child, because you already have those
yeah.
constructs already there for you. But because of the, again, back to the whole social media thing, a lot of people are just in their phones, and people don't do the normal, like the things that they used to do in the past of meeting people in random places, because they're not even engaged as much with the places around them. So the
Yeah.
chances of you meeting someone on the tube or on whatever are very slim now.
Yeah.
So now you actually have to go out and look for the friends. Almost for me, I'm a bit aggressive. If I see, no, unapologetically so.
Yeah, I
No,
get your
We
life,
love to see
baby.
it.
no. If I meet someone, so obviously, like I said, I'm an artist, so and this happens for me in both art and sometimes in law as well. If I see someone, let's say on LinkedIn, or meet someone at a conference and I think this person is cool, I'm just gonna go up to you and be like, hi, what's your P? Like, maybe not in those exact words, but but let's be
Just like,
friends.
hi, I want to get to know you.
with artists because I'm very selective anyway. So if I'm going up to this person and be like, I want to be that person's friend, I really mean it. So I'm like, hi,
Yeah.
I think you're really dope, I really like what you do, here's what I do, can we connect?
Someone said this ended in tears for them, though.
Try again, my G, or better, or better still, pick your market better. Like I said, I'm selective. I'm not doing this to every person. I'm doing this to people who I can see that we have certain
Yeah.
parallels, and we don't necessarily have to become best of friends. Sometimes it happens that way, sometimes it's not, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
just about expanding my network. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm very particular about who I'm bringing into that network, because I mean, I have a very, very serious plan for my life. So
Ooh. Ooh.
yeah, so
Ooh.
I don't want to gather friends just for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean?
That's really interesting. Like
That's what I was
being
gonna
really
say.
selective about friends.
Mm.
Like, would you guys say that?
No,
Like, as you
I
get,
have acquaintances. So for me, it's onions. It's a layer. I have people who
yeah,
are in my banter circle that is just for the bands, and that's cool. That has its purpose. It has its purpose. It serves its purpose. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm talking about in my life, I don't know if I can count up to 10 people, maybe max 10, who are like, okay, in my inner circle like that, and I don't need much more, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
So there can be people in the other bigger circle of 50 people and people in the bigger circle of 100 people. Just I think
Mm-hmm.
it's also about knowing where who falls in that, being prioritizing your relationships,
100%.
and being clear about who falls where. If not, you'll be loving someone who that don't love you. So yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Entanglement.
triggered.
Entangled.
Entanglement.
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 But no,
Entanglement.
that's a very good point, though. That I feel like it's managing your expectations. Actually, so I was going to actually pick up on what you said about being selective with. Actually, no, two things. One about being selective with how you pick your friends, which I think is true as well. Like even when, like Tina, you're saying about being on BFF Bumble or using Bumble to find friends, it's kind of like, but if you were dating, you would have certain boundaries, certain things that you were looking for. And I think sometimes we don't really apply that to friendships, even though you can have quite a close, intimate relationship with your friend. And by intimate, I don't mean sexual intimacy, but where would you say is the balance of, because I don't want people to interpret that as, make friends with people that you can use to your advantage or will be better for your career or better for you to get out
Nope.
there. But that's not
Nope.
what we're saying.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't want to. I don't know if Tina, you want to respond to that before I say something, because me, once I get talking,
It's more like when you get to know somebody. It's actually similar to dating. Like when you get to know somebody, you kind of you can gauge them better, and be like, okay, I seriously want to be friends with this person, or okay, this person's going to maybe not be in my inner circle, like, and I won't be as close with this person. And I guess it's spending time with that person. Like for me, I'm selective as well, but I guess it's not in the same way as Oyin, where maybe you'll see someone and kind of see them and monitor them first, or observe them first, and then be like, okay, I think I would just like, not, you know, you just meet somebody, you're speaking to them, and you're like, oh, this person's cool. Then I'll find out later on. It's not as like laser sharp focus.
Yeah.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I'm not that bad, teen. No, I mean, I believe in being polite and friendly and kind to people, full stop. So I think inevitably that will put me in a place. I mean, Tayo, I think you can find this annoying about me. I'm like, keep chit chat with everybody, right? Within like 2 seconds.
I'm like, let's go.
You don't even know what is wrong with you. So that's how I am. And but this is the point I'm making. So I'm like that because I believe that's how you should be with people, just nice and kind and polite. Anyway, right? But I'm saying, like, if I'm gonna take you any further than that normal layer, if I want you to be in my life, because I believe friendships are in many cases as important as even marriages. Like, I've been friends with Taya for 10 years.
Right, baby.
Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Do I know? Yeah, I've been friends with Taya for 10 years. That's a long time, right? So and our relationship is very important to me. So if I'm gonna bring someone into my life, at this point in my life, I want people that I can journey with for the long haul. Then I need 100%. To be I need to be a bit particular about who that is. And it's not about how much they have or whatever, or what they do. It's about what their values are
100%.
and if they align with mine. That's all it is. I don't care. Tayo knows me. If the person can be 10, the person can be 100, the person can be any color, it doesn't matter to me. If I think that our values align, it can be as simple as the value of kindness. It can be my from a Christian perspective, it can be different things. It can be our views on the world, it can be musicality, it can be different values I have, not always the same thing. But if there's something that is very deep for both of us and connects us, then
yeah. I feel like I like what you said about it's not just even necessarily about age. I mean, having friends within the same age group, age bracket does help. But I feel like people, when I was growing up, people would be like, why is your friend like in their 40s? Why is your friend like in their 70s? When I was at work, I made friends with this couple and they're like maybe in their like late 60s. But it was just really nice. We had the same values and obviously it was a different friendship. Like I wasn't like, hey, you come and meet me XYZ. It was just like, do you want to have a tea and a coffee? And you just kind of do life with different people. I like that you mentioned like about a journey with people. So I was even going to add something to our conversation about conventional unconventional ways of making friends. I was reading an article online, like, because I wanted to see what was out there, like how are people making friends these days. And I saw something, it was like a list, and one of the things I picked up was organize something yourself. Like I feel like sometimes people wait for friendships to happen to them, or like for people to, like, for example, it won't be so often that you have someone like Oyin being like, hey, I like you, I think you're cool, do you want to be my friend? And I was reading this tweet, and this girl, she was like, I met this girl once at uni and we talked for about 10 minutes. 4 months later, she calls me randomly and asked me if I want to join her and a friend who I've never met on a holiday because they needed one extra person. She's like, 4 years later, they're two of my closest friends and we've been to 7 countries together. Like, that's sweet, but like someone called and included you into their plans. Like they organized something and they included you into their plans. Like I would say my group of girlfriends now started from last year. What was it? Beyonce's Homecoming was coming out on Netflix. And I was just like, I had a group of girls from like church, volunteering, different groups. And I was just like, I like all of them. They seem like they will get along. Like there are some people I didn't invite because I don't think they're going to get along with these group of girls. And we created the group chat. Homecoming was like, do you guys want to come around to mine on this day? And it was through that organizing of people that actually a year later, like we're all really good friends still.
Yeah.
And these people didn't know each other actually, but all together we're all good friends.
Yeah, it was really nice. I remember seeing all these +44s, like I was saying the other day, seeing all these +44s and then sending gifts of like, yes, and then like people getting the wine ready. And I was I'm gonna like these girls.
These are my kind
These
of
are
people.
mine. It's a bit of me. It's a bit of
Honestly,
me. Yeah.
yes, it's been really nice to have those friendships.
Something
Yeah.
I wanted to say though,
Mm.
I think again with the way that media works now, we have a lot of confirmation bias, right, in our dealings with life. So all these algorithms are skewed such that if you like something, they keep showing it to you. So we all live in like a little bubble.
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah.
that, in terms of friendship, is that a good thing? Is that, so do we then get into a place where all our friends, yes, it's a place for like having the same values, but then if all your
Mm.
friends are like just the same as you with a
Mm.
tweak, like is that a good thing? Is that, does that cause division maybe in a
Ooh,
broader society? Maybe, I don't know.
Mm. I would say that for me, I feel like I have friends from all walks of life, and it could be
yeah,
different faiths, no faith, it could be anything. I have friends that literally live a lifestyle that I don't approve of. And when I say I approve of, I mean, for me, there's a difference between acceptance and approval. So your friend could
Yeah.
accept you for the fact that let's say a person that doesn't drink could be like, oh, I accept you for a person, I accept you that you don't drink, but I don't approve of it. I know that sounds, actually, no, scrap that example.
Vice
A friend
versa,
could be
maybe.
like, a friend could be like, I accept you because I accept you even though I don't approve of the fact that you smoke. So I
yeah,
feel like that could be, for me, there's acceptance and there's approval. So I feel like there are a lot of people that I feel like I'm friends with. And it might be like,
Mm,
okay, I don't approve of this or I don't approve of that. And that's vice versa, because there's some people that will look at my life and be like, I don't approve of that either.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
it's really about that connection, about they're not, our values are, but maybe that's true that you do mirror your friendships, because I'm thinking even the people who I'm like, oh, I don't approve of this particular
Certain
thing or
things,
that
yeah,
thing, it's like we're friends because we connect on
on
something.
some other things,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like what
No,
you were
I don't
saying
even know that
before.
it's a bad thing. I'm just asking what you guys
Yes,
think.
it's like what you were saying before. You know, you have your core things, so it's kind
Yeah.
of like fundamentally the same, superficially different. Like
Mm,
the
Interesting. Yeah.
like someone could be
very well
a
said.
vegetarian or vegan or
Mm.
whatever. Someone can have certain outlooks on life, but it's kind of like, you know, we both are generous people. We
Mm.
both are kind
Mm,
people. We're both people who, you know, respect each other's time and things like that.
Mm.
Like, you know, as long as you match on those things, I think those are the things that will kind of
Mm.
yeah.
That makes
make
sense.
the relationship longer lasting. And also, I
Mm,
think, you know, the more different we are, I think the more we kind of learn more about the world, even.
mm.
Like some of my friends have very interesting political ideas that are so different from mine. And it's not like I agree or disagree, but I wouldn't have known that, because, you know, when you're having a conversation with your friend, it's different to when you're reading an article and thinking, oh,
Yeah.
this person's just silly. And it's like, well, no, it's just so different to me. And it's kind of like when you sit down and have these conversations, it expands your mind a lot more.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. I agree. I think it's great to have friends that you have similar values with, because
Mm.
it makes you feel, it's like in the first podcast, if you haven't listened to that, go and listen to that now. But in the first podcast, Isha was saying about it's part of the human condition to want to be known, loved, and part of a network. And I feel
Mm.
like to be known and to be loved, if a person is like, I completely don't agree with you, I don't accept, approve, or even think
Mm.
that your life or your lifestyle is credible or whatever, you're not going to feel loved and seen or known. So I feel like
Mm.
it's important that you have those values. But I feel like it's like we're having a conversation in our group chat one day about people who don't vaccinate their kids and people who vaccinate their kids. And I feel like before that, I was just like, it wasn't like before I met a couple of friends that I have, I had never really thought about the vaccination. All I knew is that people thought that it caused autism, or there
Mm.
was a link between that and autism. But then actually I sat down, I was listening to their kind of like their, even with their parents, like even if I went for a sleepover and listened to like their parents and what they had to say, and it made me not approach things. So like Tina, you were saying, like it's not an article now, it's a person, you can be like, oh, that's so silly, but now you approach it from a different way. Like I feel
Mm.
like a lot of the times we approach things as this is an issue, whereas there are people behind that issue. And I feel like having friends that don't necessarily agree with you or see your point of view, you start to learn ways to actually truly be tolerant, not the way that our world right now is like, oh, let's be tolerant, but actually truly be tolerant and accepting.
Tolerant in the world now means
Agree with me.
it's like, yeah, agree with me, or else.
Or else it's true.
Cancelled.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
Oh my God,
Speaking
he's
of cancel
totally
culture,
canceled.
cancel culture, how do we feel about the hashtag no new friends? And again, not to bring up Twitter, this is where I get lots of my people conversations from. Someone was saying, I completely understand why girls particularly find it extremely difficult to build friendships with other girls, because a lot of girls have had traumatic experiences with other girls. And I've seen a lot of people just be like, hashtag no new friends, be careful of the friends you bring around you, you never know, your friend might be. It's like, okay.
That's just dance.
Have some discernment, man. Like, come on. I understand the sentiment, but I don't agree with it. Just because
friends.
Yeah, see, look. Sorry, Tina. I can see I'm getting riled up. So let me let you
go for it.
Look, this is my thing, yeah, with this cancel culture. Is this sweeping statements as though there's a statement that you can ever say that is always applicable. You can hardly find a statement that is applicable 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So from all men are scum to no new friends, it's all banter. Yeah, of course. As you go older, we've already talked about it, you have to be more intentional about your friendships because they mean something more than they did at some point in your life, and they can really, really influence the decisions you make in your life, of course. But I don't understand, your friends that you have now, we didn't know you at one point.
Yeah.
So why don't we focus on selecting friends better than saying no new friends? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or don't put the blame on innocent people that you don't know. Put the blame on yourself and be like, okay, maybe I haven't been intentional about how I've been going about friendships. And guess what? You can be intentional is you can still mess up. Your friend of 15 years can still shock you and do something absolutely terrible, because people change and go through phases, and things can happen in their lives and they can become a shadow of themselves. It happens. So it's not about no new friends. It's about helping you and your friend helping each other out and trying to grow together. And look, at some point, if you guys are no longer meant to be together, that's fine. There's a Yoruba proverb that says, I don't know how to say it properly because I don't want to murder the language, but it translates to 20 friends cannot be friends for 20 years.
Oh my God.
Tina literally said that on Saturday.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So it's okay for you to come to a phase in your life and be like, actually, it was great when it was, but we're no longer meant to be. Like, I have a friend that was my closest friend in the city when I was in uni. I still love her to bits. We're not particularly close anymore. We catch up from time to time. My roommate in uni, we're still good friends, but some people are just not even good with keeping in touch. You can't kill yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's okay for you to make new friends. It's okay for you to lose old friends. You just you have to keep reassessing your life.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And all men are not scum, so don't lie to yourself.
I'm gonna throw that in there because I'm tired.
No, it's true, because you're just there missing all the people that can contribute to your life. When you hear my Nigerian accent raging, you know it's real.
It's real and it's out. I agree with that. I think that was really really good in terms of no new friends. I think there was a time where I was like, I'm on no new friends. I already have all the friends I need to have, and by all the friends I need to have, I mean Oyin and like 2 other people who I'm actually no longer friends with in that capacity.
Very well. So, very good.
Very At the time, I was like, no new friends. I've got Oyin, I've got person A, person B, and that's it. And then now it's like I have really great people in my life. And I feel like it was the whole no new friends thing was because the truth is people do move a bit crazy and a bit wild, and I feel like we sometimes focus on the anger of like a lost or failed friendship instead of like the pain, whereas if we had just broken up with a partner, we would focus on that pain and not just the anger of of that. And I feel like sometimes that makes us distrust people. But if you're going to live a life of hashtag no new friends, you're walking around still holding on to something that person probably has moved on. That person's not thinking
100%.
about you. And what you're actually doing is you've become kind of embittered now, and that blocks you from actually seeing good people. So you could be like, oh, I had a friend who used to steal my perfume. Now you've met a girl who wants to be your friend, and she's like, oh, I really love this perfume you're wearing, and you're like, here we go again. Like, that's a silly example, but it's just little things like that where you're just kind of create things that are not even there, and then create a narrative or an image of human beings, whereas they're not like that. And that's really you.
It's a tricky one though, isn't it? Because as you go through life, it's kind of like a cloth, and you have to go through different, like, say, parks or different playing grounds or fields. Each time you pass through each ground or field, you're going to pick up some dirt, right? And that is
good analogy.
That is you getting those hurts, and you getting I guess having bad experiences. But every time you look down at that cloth, you can see that mud stain, and you remember where it was from. So when you see someone that looks like they have something that looks like mud in their hand, you're like, I know your type, right? But for all you know, it's a chocolate, it's a melted chocolate bar.
Yeah,
absolutely. You see what I'm saying? So it's a tricky one, because of course as an adult you also have to remember some of those hurts, so that you don't get bitten. But
100%.
if you over remember, you just get in your own way, don't you?
Tina, thoughts?
I agree. It's kind of just giving everyone a fair chance and not applying everything that you've experienced to one individual person straight away. If you notice patterns and problematic behaviors, that's a different thing. But it's kind of like you're now projecting all this weirdness, and this whole no new friends thing will just leave you jaded, and kind of your circle will actually close very quickly, actually. And the people you have around you, because it's kind of like you concentrate on all these friends, but and you haven't cultivated any new ones. Who knows what could happen? Like your 3 friends who you had, imagine if you didn't make any new friends, it'd just be you and Oyin.
And Oyin doesn't live here, so it would have just been physically just me.
And when you have only one friend, it's kind of like you're expecting the world from that one person now, because you don't have any other friends,
and they can't give you that most
exactly.
of the time.
And then you'll leave yourself being disappointed. So I think it's important to just chill.
I would say one last thing on the no new friends. I think as well, like you said, Tina, when people have been left jaded, I think it's important as well that if you're a person that you feel like you have a good group of girlfriends, and you have a strong community and everything, that you be careful about how, because sometimes people give me advice, and when it doesn't necessarily feel like it resonates, I think knowing this person, what kind of angle are they coming from? Because it's the case of someone might be like, I could be like, oh, Tina and Oyin are like my 2 best friends in the world, and they're my friends for life. And so like, but be careful saying things like that, because you never know, they might get married, and then once they have babies, things can change. It might not necessarily be false what they're saying, but it's kind of like that's their own expectation. You know what I mean? So leading into the next one, unless someone wanted to add something to that.
Let me not add.
So we're agreeing. So they were agreeing that, let's say, ways to make friends as an adult: be bold and step out. Nothing great happens in your comfort zone. Be bold and step out and speak to people and be like, hi, do you want to exchange Instagrams? It doesn't have to be that direct, but you can find a way. You can join either a church group, a Sikh group, whatever it is that you want, or like a group that just likes anime, like Tina. You can go on BFF Bumble. What else? I've made friends at the gym, actually, in classes, just being like, oh, I love your trainers, where'd you get that from? And then we just started talking, exchange numbers. Like, we're not like now besties for life, but like we're good enough.
Well, you could be. You never know.
We could be in a few years.
But it's the same thing. There's something that's bringing you both to the gym. If you've been there once, you've been there twice, you're both trying to get somewhere. You have a shared goal in some ways. So that could be a connecting point, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's not as difficult, but I feel like if you want to make friends and you feel like, you know what, I'm really lonely, you need to step out, you need to organize things, you need to push yourself, and it's not easy. And if you've been hurt before, God love you, I'm sorry, but this is not going to be your first or your last L. You're going to have to take many of those in the course of your life. So that's not an excuse,
Yeah.
No, 100%.
This is why you guys are so ridiculous.
Plus, when people say L's, I feel like people's L's are a bit dramatic. Like, I could meet somebody at a social event and we could have had the best night out, and then we swap numbers and then we never speak again. And I message that person, they don't respond. And I'm like, that's such it. I'm like, it's not really that big a L. You only need that person for like less than 24 hours.
But they had a lot of expectations.
Yeah, but if you have expectation, that's on you. Why? What gives you the right?
Yeah, because someone
you don't play hours. What gives you the right to place an expectation on them?
Yeah.
Play sad tune in the background. Cue the sad tune.
Can you actually lay it with one of those? Like,
yeah, I will. I'm gonna find one. I just put it in. Womp womp womp. Clearly, I don't need to anymore.
But I will say other ways to make friends or to expand your network is when I started at Warner, I wanted to really get into working on sets and
Warner Brothers, was that? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I caught it too, actually. I caught it as well.
Sorry. Slid that in there.
But there was lots of Facebook groups about like people based in London who wanted to make short films and who would need like a person on the day. And it's a great way to like get to know people and to like expand your network. So Facebook groups are definitely good. Eventbrite also, things you're interested in. If you're interested in painting, they have like paint and wine nights or like whatever, or like music, indoor jazz bands and all that stuff. If you can just meet people there as well.
I agree with that. So So now, once you meet those friends and you're like, I found myself a new friend, how do you cultivate those relationships? What are our 3 or 2 or 5 or whatever tips that we can give? And I asked that because we're talking about like, Oyin, you had a friend that, at uni, you guys were quite close, and now maybe not so much. And I even feel like I have friendships in my life that nothing bad happened. We didn't have a fight, but it's just they stopped putting in the effort, and what can you do in that? So I love intentionality is like my word for everything. Like I feel like if you're new to this podcast, or as you listen, we grow and journey, you find out that intentionality is like my word. Be intentional.
Yeah. Okay, guys, go. Actually, on my vision board, living intentional is on my vision board for this year. What's it called? Yeah. So cultivating friendships. I mean, it comes down to, I think, thought and time, right? So a couple of things that, to be practical. On my vision board, I actually have names of, I think, 9 people. Yeah, like it's just very tiny, but I know what they mean, right? Maybe like the code or whatever. And ever so often when I look at it, I'm like, I haven't checked up on this person in a while. I should, because I care. I know I care about them. And sometimes life gets in the way.
100%.
So I'm going to make a deliberate effort to think about them and do something for them. So when I say thought, that's one. So that helps you to actually keep them at top of mind. Another one is on WhatsApp. You can pin chats. Some of my closest friends, I pin their chats because I miss WhatsApps all the time. But I'm not gonna miss yours for long if it's right there at the top, right? So I actually pin tap. That's what I'm saying. You can't have your inner circle too big, because you just can't do that for 50 people. You can't do it. So when
I love that about pinning the thing.
Yeah.
So when you select your, I don't know, top 5 at the time or top 10, then you can actually hone in and be like, how can I develop these relationships? What are the practical things that I can do about these relationships? And then time. Sometimes, like Tayo and I, whenever we talk, it's always like hours and hours and hours long. So that means that it's a bit difficult because, if I'm working full time, I won't have time, maybe for a short conversation. And if I try to have a short conversation, she won't let me.
This is such a lie. This is such a lie. Everybody out there needs to know how much
Tina.
of a lie this
Tina.
How
is.
come you are always the common factor in hours and hours of long conversations?
Wait, let me just explain myself. I
Okay,
call
go
these
on.
people, we start having good conversation. If I'm like, you can go, they still wouldn't go. So I don't know why they're lying now
That's
that everyone
okay. Well,
always tries to pretend. Tina, if that's not true,
everyone.
why is it
Why
that
does
every
Why does
time?
everyone say that
Oh,
about you, Tayo?
Honestly,
because I have engaging conversation. No one ever wants to get off the phone with me.
sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna leave now, and then someone will now just segue into another
This
conversation,
is
and then
such a
I'm
lie.
like,
Sometimes she's like, I'm
and then
gonna
it's
leave
2
now.
a.m.
No, sometimes she's like, I'm gonna leave now. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, oh crap, I need to do my nails. Okay, bye. She's like, yeah, my nails have been a bit dusty this week. And then all of
No,
a sudden we start another conversation.
that's a
Tayo, you
lie.
know what we're talking
That's a
about. I don't know what you're
lie.
I
trying
don't
to
know what
act.
you're talking about.
She'll be like,
Do you know the one that kills me is when like you maybe I'm having a conversation and then our conversation fizzles and then I'm talking with maybe my mom or someone in the room and she's as still as the night. Only for me to
lying in
look
wait.
back at my phone. Don't kill me. This is a lying in my wait. But honestly, so true. You just come back here like, okay, let's pick up from where we left off then. You know.
Yeah, but I feel like you didn't
She'll
hang
be like,
up. I didn't hang
one
up.
thing. She'll be like, one thing real quick, and then it'll be 2 a.m. And I'm like, how did we get here? I don't know. But
This
it's always
is
your
such
fault.
a lie.
It's always your fault.
You know what? I'm not gonna take your slander on this podcast.
It's not slander if it's true.
It's my podcast. I won't take it.
You got it. You got it, baby.
But
But
yeah,
wait.
What I was trying to say is that so I might not be able to have that conversation every day.
Yeah.
But I need to be sending a message. I need to be checking in. I mean, we're all on each other's social media platforms. You know, reply to your friend's freaking post if you like the post. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of keep them top of mind and try to be the same. But you can only do that if the numbers are limited. You physically cannot do that, except if maybe you're jobless. So maybe you don't. Maybe you're not busy. You don't have anything to do with your life.
Busy.
But if you're, going for your own goals, inevitably you're not going to have as much time as you once had, right? So what are you going to do about that? Because guess what, your time is just going to keep getting demanded on. I remember when I was starting to grow up a bit more and I would be like, oh, I'm so tired. My dad would be like, yeah, guess what, it's just more. You're just going to get more of this.
It's just gonna get
You're
worse.
you're just going to get more. You're going to get older. You're going to get more senior at your workplace. You're going to get managerial demands on your time. You're going to get married. You're going to have your spouse. You're going to have your children demanding your time. I was like,
Plus
thank
your
you, Dad. This
family
is really
still.
helpful.
Honestly.
No, it's
you.
true.
Better, but the truth is the truth is the truth. So yeah, you just have to squeeze the time out. And yeah, that's it.
I agree.
I think tips I would give to somebody is for cultivating friendships is to, at the start, don't invest a lot. And what I mean is, like, if you've met someone and say you've met someone on a night out and it's kind of, don't just be so like heavy handed and have all these like expectations and fantasies for what this friendship's going to be. Just, play it by ear. And then, as you and this person like enjoy each other's company more and have more in common, then you can kind of up the ante of the friendship. And I feel like that's how it like organically grows. And it's something that will kind of last longer.
That makes sense.
I would say a tip. Actually, I don't. Before I say a tip for myself, when we say don't go heavy-handed, I agree with that. But I don't know about not going as hard. Depending on if going hard for you in a new friendship is I'm texting you every day, I'm calling you every day. You must answer me. Now I met you. No.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's a bit much. But I think there is that thing of so for me, I feel like romantically, what I want from my partner is to create an atmosphere where there is value and actually value me. And I actually expect that from my friends as well. Like, I don't speak to my friends in certain ways. I feel like I try to be as honest as I can because I value the relationship and X, Y, Z.
100%.
So I feel like make sure that your friendships are valuing. Like for me, I can't take a non-valuing friendship. It's nothing to me. I'm not interested. Nope, go away. Like, let it be something of value, and that can be very natural in just, I know I'm pinned to Oyin's chat. Like, I'm really, really bad with messages. Like,
Yes, you are.
I'm terrible with messages,
You really
but
are.
I try my best, you know? I try my
You
best
do.
with you guys. Like, if you guys think I'm bad with
You
messages,
try. You
imagine
try.
the people in my life, the other people that are not you guys.
Yeah.
You try.
So,
I didn't even know that was bad about you.
yeah.
Ha, Tina.
To be honest.
It's because we're in a group chat.
Yeah, group chats are easy because you can just blend in when you have like a, you
Yeah.
can like,
Yeah.
lol. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Chucking a few crying, laughing emojis and go back to work, and people feel
done.
like, they've spoken to you
Right.
today.
Yeah.
I can
So,
message Tayo on Monday. But that's, I think that brings me to another thing. For two things. One, I never believe that I never believe that I'm entitled to anybody's time. Okay, unless you tell me otherwise or the relationship demands otherwise. I always
Okay.
I make excuses for my friends before time. So if I send you a message on Monday, and you don't reply on Monday, I just say to myself, she was probably having a busy day. She was probably didn't get around to it, because it happens. If it
Yeah.
now becomes a thing where that's all the time, that happens all the time, of course that's a pattern. But you have to be willing to let people have a life that's outside you,
Yeah.
and just make those excuses for them, and realize that you're not entitled to everything they have in this life.
maybe not
Right?
excuse, make allowances for them.
Yeah.
Allowances, yeah, maybe that's a better word. And the second thing is understanding your friends.
Yeah,
Okay, so
absolutely.
yeah, if you know, again, if Ty doesn't reply my message, I know that it's not because she's being mean or whatever, or she
Ignoring
doesn't care
you.
about me. She's just not good with her messages. She's just too
If you call
impatient
me,
for
I'll
type.
answer.
Yeah, for me, calls are almost out of the way because I'm almost always like from one work call to another, or I'm with my parents or whatever. I'm in a
Yeah.
place where I can have a nice long conversation, which is what I would like to have, which is why I prefer to message. But it's just a function of us being in different spaces. I'm just making allowances for
But do
that.
you know what? I feel like you even saying that, like Tina says she's not a phone call person. You're not a phone call person. If you text me, give me 3 to 5 working days to get back to you. But if you call me, like my friend Faji is always like, how is it that I can text you? You will not respond for 3 days. But if I call you, you pick up immediately. It's like, so you're with your phone. I'm like, but this thing about number one, not feeling entitled to people's time, I feel like because of instant messaging and WhatsApp, people just feel like if I text you, you should answer. Sometimes I just want to be at home in my own thoughts in peace. I don't want to
Yeah.
engage in that kind of conversation. Plus, what's the conversation? Hi, how are you? Fine, thank you. How are you? Good. I don't actually know if you had a horrible day or not.
Some people can actually have a deep conversation by text.
I don't
Don't
know
knock
how
it.
to do it because I feel
Don't
like you
knock it.
can't
Just because you can't do it
express
doesn't
it.
mean people can't do it. So.
But I feel like it's just like, bleh, bleh. Anyways.
Don't you remember like when like you'd be teenagers and you'd be messaging back and forth all night?
On
But you can
Yeah.
have,
MSN. You see,
MSN.
joblessness. See, joblessness
what
was
I'm
a
trying to say is you can
problem.
have a deep conversation by remote without hearing each other's voice. Of course, hearing each other's voice is a different one. It just depends on who you are. I know someone, for
Yeah.
example, who says even for work he loves to just get his calls done and get my calls, blah, blah, sort it out. I hate getting calls from my colleagues because that says to me I have to drop whatever I'm doing right now and attend to your call.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
time it's not
yeah.
important, so just message me when I get a chance. I'll reply you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But some
Yeah.
people prefer the other. It's just a personality difference, and that's okay. Know
Yeah.
your friend and know which one they prefer, and be willing to shift ground a little bit to accommodate
Oh,
what,
100%.
whatever
I agree with
works.
that because I feel like when you were working and commuting, a lot of the times because sometimes people are like, oh, I get so busy and I don't have time for my friendships, and that's fair enough, and that's legitimate. But I feel like for me, it's like I was saying, Tina, you know this about me, Oyin. When people go 3, 4, 6 months not speaking, that like
Yeah,
you're not coming
yeah.
back to anything. I'm not going to be here when you get back. But I feel like, for example, Oyin and I said we've been friends for 10 years. Out of those 10 years, how many years have we actually been in the same country constantly with each other? So it could be Oyin is sitting in traffic and she calls me and we have a conversation from her office till she gets home and she's like, I have to go
Right.
with my parents now. Done.
Yeah.
We've already
Yeah.
made time for that.
An hour. We've had because Lagos
Yeah.
traffic, so an hour and a half conversation. But
Yeah.
And that's just, as long as the person is important, you squeeze, you try, you will find
Yeah.
the time. Because guess what? If this is a relationship that's actually nourishing you and is important to you, you actually miss that conversation, or you actually miss
Yeah.
spending that time, right? So you will find a way to make it happen.
100%. And you know, when you say like knowing your friend, like say
Yeah.
if I'm in constant communication with like you guys,
Mhm.
and say I have a deadline or I'm working on a big project, you guys will know that. So if you now
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
if I now don't speak to you for a few days, you'll know
Yeah.
exactly why. And it's kind of just being in that um journey with your friends where you can understand whether, and
Yeah.
you can help and support and do what you can in your capacity to be that friend to that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like that. I like that. Like, you would know. So, for example, you're not going to be offended if, for example, if I'm calling Tina or I'm texting her and she's not getting back to me, I know she has this deadline. So it's like you can accommodate it. But when it's like, I don't know, it's like, then what's happening? But you're right. No one's entitled to anybody's time, even though I feel like I'm entitled to both of these times.
Okay. How did I feel like that was coming?
I
just
knew
felt
she
like
was
it was
gonna
coming.
exactly. I knew
Felt
it
like it was coming.
Because even
because
Tina
we know
being
her.
like, exactly, you know me.
Okay.
It's good to have friends that know you. Sometimes you feel seen, you feel heard, you don't feel like, I feel like there are a lot of things that I feel like someone might not like about me, and you guys might just be like, this is really just who you are, and I love you. But I feel like the amount of times I hang out with Oyin and she's like, you're just really annoying. It's like it's really a lot. Like, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Tina and Dami were meant to come to mine, and then I think they like flaked.
Oh my gosh, this again. This
And
old chestnut.
before we hung up, Tina was like, I know I'm not gonna hear the last of this. I was like, you already know it, baby.
Yeah, and I knew. So you called, and then you started on me, and Dami was just like, "Damn," and I was like, "No, no, no, no." I knew
It was coming, so
I
it's
knew what was gonna
okay.
happen when I picked up this phone call, and I accepted it.
Yeah, I know for you, Tayo, I know that you're particular about people making an effort in a relationship, and it's funny. People are different, right? Some people are okay to go quiet for 6 months and then pick up conversation from wherever they stopped. And some people are not. Again, it comes back to who your friend is.
Yeah.
So, you know, it also means like you're gonna miss a lot, right? 6 months is a long time.
Yeah.
It also means you're gonna miss a lot. So again, it's about layers. Where does this person fall? Well, guess what? Some people don't even have that capacity for that very deep relationship that you know that you could have with them, because they haven't over time learned to keep relationships, because maybe they just don't know how, or
That's
they didn't
very
apply
true.
themselves or whatever. So it's not like they love you any less than you love them. They just haven't learned to be better. But you have to protect yourself. If you're the kind of person that loves really hard, for example, and wants to be really involved in your friend's life, and this friend is just constantly um you know you feel shut out, you might have to move them from level 1 to level 3 just to
Yeah,
protect your own heart, because
good.
you're like, this is not the kind of relationship I want for the people who are closest to me. And you can decide that. It's your life, you're the star of your own show. You can decide what you want for yourself, and that's okay.
I agree with you. I feel like it's so funny what you said, and I think that's such a good point about that person may not even have the capacity or the ability to express love in the way that you're expecting that they could, or like for you to. I actually had a friend that was like a childhood friend of mine, and it's interesting because she would say things to me like, how are you still friends with all these people from like way back when? How are you still friends with this person for so and so? But I actually, I knew that I knew she didn't have the capacity to have those sorts of deep, meaningful friendships with people. So I feel like I never expected it of her, and I was never disappointed. And I like what you said about moving friends from level 1 to 3 to 4. I feel like someone once said, and even this article is reading, where it was like, they're your pleasure friends, the people that you go out with, you have a good time. For me, I feel like they're your work friends, they're your gym friends, and there's your core, like these are your guys.
100%.
Yeah.
Great stuff, man. So um, lastly, what about reconciling with old friends? Like, what if there is a friend and you guys are falling out, or let's just say you're not friends anymore, things have happened. How do you reconcile? What makes you reconcile? What makes you not reconcile or want to reconcile?
I think it always depends on how the end went down. Because there's sometimes it's kind of like, oh, we hurt each other's feelings and we could, but it's like sometimes people actually like hurt you and they're trying to hurt you and they're like, yeah, and it's kind of those ones you kind of can just leave to the side, and it's not I hate this person, you forgive that person, you move on. But I feel like a lot of the times, like, you fall out with someone and there's kind of people don't reconcile because there's the fear of, oh, this person still hates me. Or if someone was to reach out to you, how would you receive them, kind of thing. I always think that, you know, just do what you do to someone else. So if I was going to reach out to somebody else and be like, look, I'm sorry, if someone was to do the same to me, I'd receive it with grace. And it's not, and you know, reconciliation doesn't mean we're going to be besties for life. It just means that this bridge, we've kind of mended it a bit, and you know, who knows, in the future we could like walk across it and be friends again, you know.
Good.
I think I agree with that, for the most part, to be honest.
For the most part.
I knew that was coming at me.
Wow.
I literally knew that was coming.
Wow.
I literally heard that before it happened.
I agree with that 100%.
Thank you. I almost had to cancel you for a split second.
I could feel it coming.
I feel it coming.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to dial back. Okay. You said you wanted to be serious on this podcast.
Sorry.
But I agree with that, Tina, actually. Friendships, things happen, you know. Human beings are human beings. Human beings can be really, really crappy. That's the truth. And we are those people sometimes, and sometimes it's other people to us. So for me, and anyway, at least as a Christian, you know, you have to be at least willing to forgive, at least willing to have a conversation and communicate. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to bring them back into your inner fold. Like Tina said, it might be something for later, it might be something for never, or at least be at peace. The Bible says be at peace with all men, so you can start from there. Try to be at peace with all men.
You can start from there.
You know, not harbor, because hate or whatever hurts, they get in your own way. So if you can work through that, then
drinking poison, expecting someone else to die.
Exactly. So if you can work through that, good for you, good for everyone. But you know, like she said, they don't have to be a best friend. Just you know, watch and see, basically. And if they did something that, you know, was really hurtful, that trait, has the trait left? Have they worked on that trait? If they haven't worked on it, don't bother yourself bringing them back into the fold, because they will just do something again.
I agree. I agree with that. I think reconciling with old friends is like, you can reconcile, but they don't have to be placed in the same tier as they were before. And if they are, then it's going to take that thing about putting in the work. I don't feel like there's any relationship that anybody can have in this world that is meaningful that doesn't require you putting in the work. Because someone could listen to this podcast and be like, oh my gosh, but this sounds so exhausting. Like, I just want to meet someone, have banter, have a good time. Like, why am I now, you know, pinning things to the top of my thing? But then, do you want a meaningful relationship or not?
She said, take it easy, work your way through it, let it be organic. I didn't say every time you come up for a night out, you not say, I met Dave, I met Janet, I met, you not be pinning all of them to your wall. I didn't ask you to do that. You know what I'm saying? These are people who are pillars, you know, of different parts of my life, and they mean a lot to me, and that has come over a long time in most cases. And just to say, actually, sometimes your relationships can be deep without being long. That's
absolutely. Like long in like how many years you've been friends?
In terms of length of time,
of course.
It can be very deep without being long. So that's what I'm saying. All these new friends, don't lie to yourself.
Don't lie to yourself, baby. Don't miss out on your best friend. Don't miss out on your maid of honor.
Honestly.
Crying. Yeah, but where's the lie though?
Where is the lie?
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, for me, I agree with you in summary, Tina.
Yeah,
thank you.
Completely, holistically, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Well, guys, this was a very, very, very nice chat. I hope that everyone listening, there was something in there that was for you, that will be impactful, useful, um, inspire, or rather empower you to step out in new ways. And you deserve friendship. Like, whoever's listening and just feels like, I'm lonely, no one gets me, like, you will find your own people in due time.
Yeah.
They will accept you for who you are, and you deserve good friends. You deserve people who you can journey with and do life with. And that's why God gave us friends, because
Honestly.
what is the saying, like, friends are the family you never asked for, or something, along those
Something
lines.
That
like that.
sounds about right.
Yeah, like like
Yeah,
you'll find these.
I was gonna say something, because we're talking about all these friends. You too, as a human being, work on yourself. Okay? Okay. Can we talk about
Oh.
it?
Where that sad
Yeah.
music? That sad music.
Wah, wah,
Wah,
wah.
wah. The
No,
sad
but
truth
seriously,
we don't always want to hear.
But
yeah.
no,
Work on
100%.
yourself. Be, oh, I need this kind of friend. Are you that kind of friend? I want to be this kind of. I need this kind of spouse. I need this kind of boy in my life. I need this kind of girl in my life. Are you that kind of person? Is that kind of person going to be looking for you?
Oh.
Yes.
You
So
don't leave
work on
them feeling
yourself.
a type of way.
Come on.
shaking,
You see,
shaking tables,
my outro was so
shaking
much better.
tables.
Look how nice and comforting that was.
And
Yeah, I'm always here to shake one or two tables. Is what I
I
do
think we
for my
should just mute
pastime.
his mic.
It's
Oyin
how
I
it's
feel
how
like
I
you've dragged a
relax.
few edges this afternoon.
It's how I relax. It's how I relax. But honestly, yeah, work on yourself, man.
no,
That's what I.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, listen to my album.
Ooh.
What?
Shameless
Plug it.
plug.
Plug it.
Shameless plug.
So I have to take this part out.
No, I'm not gonna take it out. Promote
Absolutely
yourself.
not.
Promote yourself. Let them know.
Well, I mean, if we're on the subject, well, my album is called From a Different Cloth.
Yeah.
My artist name is Miss Eva Johnson, and I'm available on all music streaming platforms. Also,
Get it.
check out my video on YouTube. It's called How You Feel by Miss Eva Johnson. Thank you. God bless you.
And I'm gonna link that. I'm gonna link that below. I'm gonna put it on the gram.
I'm gonna link that.
You know, Tina, I won't start with you today because
Jeez Louise.
she
Honestly,
knows
I was silent. I was silent, minding my own
but
business.
well, tough, because you could have had something to plug in here if you're just done what you were supposed. You know what?
Oh
This is
my
not necessary. This is not for
Okay,
the podcast.
sorry.
What's your problem, for crying out loud?
I'm gonna just actually no, I'm not gonna beep that out. Just so that you can hear it.
guys,
Just
watch this. Guys, even though none of you know me, watch this space.
Yes.
Watch this space.
Come on,
watch
then,
this space.
Watch it.
Let them know, boss.
Go on then. Tina.
As you guys know, the only space that you should be watching is Layers Podcast, Layers Network, and it is what it do, baby, and it be what it be. Okay, signing off now. Your favorite thing about friendship? Go, everybody. One, Tina, go first.
My favorite thing, it's kind of what you and Isha were saying about like just being known and someone understanding you.
Yeah.
And you know, not everybody will understand you, and that's fine. But you know, you have those people who are close to you, who you can be vulnerable with, who understand you, understand where you're coming from, and kind of just, I don't know, just being understood that you don't have to explain everything. Like all the gaps are kind of filled because you have that intimate relationship and that intimate knowledge of who that person is. And it's really special actually, because there's only a few people, I could say 2 people, who know me like that.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I like that. What's my favorite thing about friendship? Having another type of life partner, having people to journey through life with, but not like your spouse, because your relationship with your spouse is different, but just a different type of life partner. And you know, I've seen people who become friends because their children are friends. It's a very powerful thing. You know what I'm saying? How friendships can connect families and connect destinies. So yeah, just that life partnership, and different types and varied, you know, forms of it is what I think is pretty beautiful about friendship.
Yeah. Great. I would say my favorite thing about friendship is both of yous combined. I know that that's cheating, but it's like to be known, to be loved, to be part of a network, and to have your families connect and to connect with people for life. And just, you know, people say I was born alone, I walk alone. That's a bunch of BS. Like nobody, like the one, I saw this quote one time that was like, the one, human beings can do many things, but the one thing they can't do is be alone. That is nowhere. I don't care if you believe in, I don't know, natural selection, evolution, but there's nowhere in the human design that was meant for you to do life on your own. So step out, go send those messages, take your L's, laugh about your L's. If you feel like you don't, if you feel like the L was too painful, message me on the Layers Network. I'll laugh at you and with you, and we move. So
Honestly,
thank you, Tina and Oyin, for joining me. I loved chatting with you.
thank you for having me. Thank you for having us. I won't speak for Oyin, I'm joking. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Tina, you can do whatever you want.
For the most part.
Taya, you're annoying. But thank you for having me. I'm really happy actually about this, because I feel like it's, you doing this podcast is well overdue. And for all who care to know and don't care to know, that her gold mic, I bought it. Okay.
Wow.
The point I'm making